You've probably never even thought about what happens after you flush the toilet or send something down the sink. If you live in the Seattle metro region, from Duwamish to Lake Forest Park, it all goes to West Point. The West Point treatment plant can handle about 100 million gallons of wastewater on a dry day and as much as 440 million gallons in wet weather. That makes it the biggest wastewater treatment plant in the Pacific Northwest and the largest wet weather treatment plant anywhere on the West Coast. Wastewater treatment is actually a pretty simple process. First, the flow goes through the screening room where all the trash is taken out. Those flushable wipes, they are not flushable. Next, it goes to primary tanks. The idea here is to just slow down the flow and let the solids drop out. What's left goes to what's called secondary treatment, not a physical process primarily, but a biological one. Here, microorganisms actually eat what's left in that water, polishing it all the way to about 85, even 90% clean. Next, it's disinfected and dechlorinated and then sent out a pipe into Puget Sound. What's left over is dried and sent over to eastern Washington by truck, where it is pumped onto farm fields as fertilizer. At West Point, things can go wrong in a hurry. On the night of February 9th, the plant was at maximum flows when there was a huge equipment failure.
You want to think about it as the float that you have in the tank in your toilet at home. It's monitoring the level of the water in your tank and it's turning the water off and on. What happened on the night of February 9th is as these tanks filled up, these switches did not work. So we continued to pump sewage into the system as these were filling up and overflowing. We have big tunnels underneath and the sewage filled up those tunnels. It was in most places around 12 feet deep. And there's all kinds of equipment and boilers that are down at that level. They were inundated and all had to be shut down. And then that's been part of the process to replace all of that.
It was a catastrophe on a scale never before seen at West Point, sending hundreds of millions of gallons of raw wastewater and stormwater into Puget Sound. So what's the big picture? Wastewater treatment is the single most fundamental environmental benefit that we need to live in a city. As our population continues to grow, and as climate change means that we get more rain, bigger storms, more intense storms, what does this mean for the future?